Hello, everybody. You're listening to 99.5 ESPN Radio. I am your host, Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at 99.5. That's 99.5 ESPN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Additionally, you can always call in at 620-343-6143. That is 620-343-6143. And don't forget, you can listen live all day, every day, simply by going to 995ESPN.com or by downloading the app. Just type in 99.5 ESPN in the search, available on your Android and iPhone device. Guys, I am more than excited to have the guest that we are about to have on right now on the show. In 1978, he amassed 1,700 yards plus in rushing yards, and that led to him being the Heisman Trophy winner that year with the Oklahoma Sooners. He played with the Detroit Lions in the NFL. His name is Billy Sims, and he's right here on 99.5 ESPN Radio Emporia. Billy, I want to tell you it is a great pleasure to have you on the program today, sir.
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And if we may, I just kind of want to dive right into it. Look, you've been around for a while, the game of football in itself. You played under Switzer. You've seen a lot of great coaches, Bob Stoops, et cetera, Howard Schnellenberger. Now we have Coach Riley. What do you see in Coach Riley with the Oklahoma Sooners that you feel that he could be the future of that team for coaching for many years to come?
Well, with Coach Riley, he was the offensive coordinator, so he's just picking up what Coach Stoops left off at, and I think he's going to do a great job for the university and keep the ball rolling.
One of the things that we're seeing right now with the Oklahoma Sooners this year, speaking of coaching and how that they may perform offensively, Kyler Murray has decided to sign a contract with the Athletics. It looks like he's going to play pro ball. Therefore, he will forego his senior season. Bo Jackson said that whatever he chooses to do, he needs to focus on one or the other. We're still going to see one more year of football out of him. It's a very difficult decision, I think, for a coach right now. Do I play him this year? Do I sit him this year? Kyler still has more choices to make. What is the Billy Sims approach in this situation?
Well, boy, that's a tough one. Sometimes you just got to sit back and look at the whole picture and whatever you think is best for himself and his family. I'm sure he make the right decision by doing that.
One of the things, Billy Sims, that we saw for a very long time at the University of Oklahoma was great running backs. Most recently, I think Samaje Perine would be one of the guys that we were looking at. And since you've been at OU, there's been a plethora of great running backs, as I made mention of. Who do you see going into this season that could really impact the Oklahoma Sooners from a running back perspective?
That's going to be interesting, because OU's always been known for their running backs. Right now, I think it may be by committee starting off, so we'll see how things works out on that level.
We're talking to Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner back in 1978. It was his junior year. He amassed over 1,700 yards on the ground during that time frame. Billy, there's 101 memories I'm sure that you have in your playing days at OU, but maybe if you could pinpoint one of the greatest ones that you've ever had. Clearly, I think your Heisman Trophy accomplishment would be in there, but what are maybe some of the other things that you can say, this was one of my favorite times about playing at the University of Oklahoma?
Well, wow, it was a lot. Back in those days, especially we ran the wishbone, and it wasn't just myself. We were so loaded with talent on offense and defense that we was sort of remind me of Alabama. We didn't rebuild, we just reloaded because we had so much talent. And probably it was, I would say it would be my senior year because I came in second with Charles White. I almost pulled it off twice. But my senior year, Nebraska at the time was the Big 8 conference, was predicted to win the Big 8 conference, and we ended up, coming in first that year. My game against Missouri, I went for 247, and then I think 287. Then my last game against Nebraska, the Black Shirts, as they used to call themselves, I went for 247. And by that time, the votes was already in, so I might have had a good shot of winning two of them. But I really didn't realize I was going to win the first one, so I was just very fortunate. Great supporting cast of teammates on both sides of the ball, and that's why we were so good back during the 70 era with Coach Switzer.
You know, one of the things, Billy, was the huge rivalry between Nebraska and Oklahoma for so many years. And, of course, with both teams being really great year in and year out, that only added fuel to the fire, so to speak. Do you miss the rivalry between OU and Nebraska? Or are you one of those people that believe, hey, you know what, times have to change. They always will change. And for now, this is just kind of the way that we have to deal with is that great rivalry, not just on a local level, but on a national level, lost.
Well, yeah, but I still wish it was, like it was in the Big 8 before the Big 12 came along. And we do really miss those rivalries. From time to time, be around some of the Nebraska Heisman winners, Mike Rozier, Johnny Rogers, Eric Crouch, those guys. And we all talk about the days when Oklahoma and Nebraska would play for the chance to go to play in a bowl game. Back then, it usually was us or Nebraska going to the Orange Bowl. We was committed to the Orange Bowl every year. So without a doubt, I hate that all broke up. But, time bring about a change. That's for sure.
You know, Tom Osborne was one of the people that was very adamant that they didn't add the teams from Texas to make it what became Big 12 football. Do you think that the transition proved to be Tom Osborne's prediction and that it was going to be horrendous for the conference and all the things that maybe he saw seemingly began to take shape and now we see the Big 12 in the predicament that it's in now? Or did you like the idea of adding those Texas teams and that it made it more competitive?
Well, from a competitive standpoint, it didn't bother me. I just, wish it was like back in the Big 8 days. But bottom line, especially nowadays, the bottom line is how much, it can do for the university, and I think that played a big part in it.
We're talking to Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner back in 1978 right here on 99.5 ESPN Radio Emporia. Billy, you know what it's like going through the recruiting process. You made a huge change. Originally, a lot of people believed that you were going to go to Baylor. You end up going to OU. We see now with this kind of free agent market almost in college football now where these kids don't even have to ask anymore for transfers. Is it something that is getting out of control? Are we treating them too much like they're pros? What is Billy Sims' perspective on maybe what we need to do in the recruiting process to kind of eliminate some of those issues going on in football?
Well, basically, it's a farm league for the pros, the way I look at it, and especially with the amount of money is being contributed to the universities. Of course, they're debating whether players should be paid, taken care of in some type of way. So we'll see which way to go eventually.
Do you think that players should get paid and treated as amateurs in their time in college? Or do you think that it should be more like in your day when, hey, look, you're a student athlete, you're getting an incredible opportunity, and it's a rite of passage to go through all these things?
Well, times has changed now. I think the way football is going or it has headed, there should be some type of stipends where a kid can be able to do something. But, again, I don't know how they're going to figure out what should be done from this standpoint, from a financial standpoint.
It is definitely a tricky situation. I mean, I think there's a lot of people agreed that the kids should get paid, but obviously, Billy, the big question is where the money is going to come from. Would you agree to that?
Well, it's coming from revenues, from TV revenues, apparel revenues. It ain't about they don't have the money. But then you'll find situations where schools are not like Oklahoma or Notre Dame on a big status like they are now that can't afford to compete with OU or Nebraska or Texas or USC if you really do start, paying players. So my thing is I think they'll probably go along the line where it is now, see what happens.
Billy, you've seen a lot of transitions in the game of football, especially in the college realm. I mean, back in your day, there would be maybe one nationally televised game for an entire week. I mean, you basically had to attend the games to know what happened. Now, I mean, you flip on a TV on a Saturday, and I mean, there's a potential that you could see 8 or 10 games in a week. Do you think that the transition of college football into that spotlight has been good for the game, or do you think it's been bad for the game and it's caused so many of these other side problems that have come along with the money issues in the game of college football?
Well, I think it's kind of half and half because it gives other schools, other players a chance to see other teams around the country, give them some idea. They have more opportunity to go to this university or that university. So I kind of think it works in both ways.
We're talking to Billy Sims on 99.5 ESPN Radio Emporia. He's got a barbecue joint of his own right here in town. Billy, you have brought the taste of Texas here. I got to ask the question, though. I lived in Kansas City for a few years. Kansas City barbecue, Texas barbecue. What's Billy Sims' approach? Is Texas where it's at, or is Kansas City the place to go for barbecue, Billy?
No, it's going to be Oklahoma barbecue. Not Texas.
Billy with the curveball.
Even though I'm from Texas, but originally I'm from St. Louis, Missouri by birth. Mm-hmm. Big Cardinals fan. Baseball is my first love. I thought I was going to be the next Bob Gibson growing up. Mm-hmm. And I relocated to Texas when I was about the 8th grade to live with my grandparents. Of course, everybody in Texas played football. Baseball wasn't a big deal. But baseball is still my first love. So, no, it's the same style of Texas barbecue, and I think the people there will enjoy it. Hopefully they get a chance to come out and try some of it and get a chance for me to meet them.
What was it that really drove you to the passion to because obviously being a chef and making food is far different than preparing it at home. I mean, you're producing for a lot of people here in the state of Kansas, Wichita, here in Emporia, out west now in Garden City, if I remember correctly. So there's a lot of responsibility there to make food that everybody can love. When did you discover that you had that passion?
Well, it started back about 14 years ago, actually. I'm thinking at the time it was just going to be some restaurants in Oklahoma, not all over the country. We've got a little over 60-something stores now, and I'm still growing. But got a lot of great people on board. It's not all about me. A lot of people on board to make this a pretty good business to be involved in. And just the fact that it's barbecue, and a lot of people like barbecue around the country. So that's kind of how it started. Really did. I never saw all these stores coming 14 years ago. I mainly thinking it was just going to be in Oklahoma because of the football, the tradition, and it just kind of took off on its own.
You know, this may be kind of a corny question, Billy, but do you feel that there was more pressure in your playing days in college in the NFL with the Detroit Lions, or do you feel there's more pressure in running your own business?
It was more pressure playing with the Detroit Lions.
Shots fired.
Hey, because I'm just hoping my new Heisman guy, Baker Mayfield, because I know Baker, it's almost been 40 years almost. I was first pick for the Detroit Lions. You know, first round sounds pretty good till they tell you where you was going. But I had a few good years there. Probably 83 was my best year. And but other than that, I'm still involved with the state of Michigan, actually. And we have some restaurants up there. I have one in the stadium there at Ford Field. And from time to time, I see the other BS, Barry Sanders, who's from Wichita, Kansas. And I see him a lot. Even he eats my barbecue, so that gave us a thumb up. So it's pretty good.
Really quick, you said that you know Baker Mayfield very well. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding Baker Mayfield, obviously. Number 1 draft pick to the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people believe that Baker could be the guy there in Cleveland, but there's a plethora of people that believe the complete opposite. Your perception on Baker Mayfield and what he's capable of in the NFL, Billy?
Put it this way, he is a winner. And what comes with winning is doing things the right way, and it'll trickle down to the teammates around him. Kind of reminded myself when I first went to Detroit in 1979, 1980, they were used to losing. Well, I wasn't. I was coming out of the University of Oklahoma. And my rookie year, I go Rookie of the Year. We end up second in the league. Minnesota beat us on a tiebreaker. And from that on, we improved, made the playoff 3 times, but we didn't win it. Actually, my 1983, we go out and play the 49ers, end up losing by a field goal. My quarterback at that time was Gary Danton. I think he does CBS Sports nowadays. So far, I'm telling you, this guy is something else. I mean, you talking about bringing winning attitude to a program. He's one of the best to do it. From walking on from took 2 schools and taking a chance like that, I mean, that's unreal. You know, my thing, when I went to Detroit, we had guys that could play, but they wasn't used to winning. And I was. And I could see the change when I was there. I think the same thing can happen for Baker at Cleveland.
Well, you just heard it from right there from Billy Sims, Heisman Trophy winner, that the future looks bright in Cleveland based off of the capability of Baker Mayfield. Billy Sims, this is the part of the show when I give all of my guests an opportunity to say whatever it is that's on their mind. There's no right or wrong answer here. The floor is 100% yours, sir.
I just hope everybody get a chance to come out and try the barbecue and get a chance to get an autograph or take a picture, and I appreciate their business.
He's going to be here June 22nd, coming up this Friday. His name is Billy Sims, and one hell of a guy. Billy, I really do appreciate your time today.
Okay, then, thank you, and I'll be there from 5 to 7.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Everybody, get your chance to meet Billy Sims coming up this Friday, June the 22nd, between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. right here in Emporia. I am Drew Duncan. We are live on 99.5 ESPN Emporia. We'll be back right after this. Don't you dare touch that dial.